Good morning, saints. Today we're going to play with some clay. I'm sure that you've played with clay, or you've played with clay in school or preschool. And do you know that when you play with clay, you're doing something that people have been doing for thousands and thousands of years? They started by picking up the mud out of the riverbank, and they discovered that if they pressed it together and made it into a bowl, they could actually carry some of that water from the river. And then one time they left it close to the fire, and they discovered that it cooked and it got hard, and that made it even better for carrying things and for cooking things in. So that's called pinch pots, when you just kind of pinch it together. And as time went on, they discovered that if you took clay and you rolled it into a long cord and you put it together, you could make things taller. You could make things stronger on the walls, and you could actually make vases and pretty things of art. And when you fired it in the fire, when you put it in the fire, it stayed together even better, and it also, you were able to do the walls thinner. And then they discovered that by using some kinds of clay, and if you put them into the fire, they became shiny and very permanent. And you can make all kinds of things. These little snow people that are the bride and groom, my mother, when she was in her 80s, made those for her grandchildren to have, because she had a disease that made her hands not able to paint anymore. She was a painter, and she could still work in clay. And so she made these, and then she fired them, and they were able, and they're still here today. So pottery is a really old thing, just like this pot, this thing made out of stoneware. It's probably 100 years old. It's still here. In the lesson today in Isaiah 64, we hear God being called a potter who makes things, makes creatures, makes people, creates, just as we could create out of this clay. And the good thing about clay, and the good thing about a relationship with God, who is our creator, is that sometimes when you mess up, you can take it apart and roll it back into a ball and make it better. But sometimes things get cooked. They get put in the fire. You can't change it. You can't take it apart. So when you're living your life and God is with you, sometimes you have to remember that there are things you can change in your life, like this soft clay, and that sometimes things happen that you can't change. It's been baked in. But that doesn't mean that the next day God won't give you new possibilities to be new people, because God is constantly being with us and giving us new opportunities to be made into new things. So, go play with some clay and think about the possibilities in your life. For God is a master potter, and he's planning wonderful things for you.